all grow together. Here, what we're going to do is we're going to lift these pieces up slightly and get them out of those little grooves that they're in. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just taking them and lifting them just slightly and pushing forward just a tad bit. And it's just going to get it off the track that it's on. And boom, now we've got that off. So it's time to get the last little layer off, which you're going to need a little flathead screwdriver so you can just peel slightly around the edges. I don't want to mess it up. This is the fingerprint scanner, and it's kind of hard to find a replacement one, so just be real careful. It'll come off just like so, and then we can go ahead and put it on the other palm rest. I just ordered a new palm rest, so you may or may not have to do this. So here we are, just screwing the palm rest into the metal little support frames for the LCD. I don't know that's what they're called, but whenever you do this, make sure that you're not screwing too hard. Like if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't fit right, then it's probably not right. Now it slides down real nice and proper. We can go to the next step, which is going to be getting this put in properly. So whenever you do this, you're just gonna have to play with it a little bit. It takes some time, but then after a while, it'll kind of slide right in there properly. And now we're going to just put that little piece of tape that came off of it on there, which you want to make sure you do relatively fast. That way, you wouldn't have to order a new piece of tape like that. I don't know where to get them, so I just did this all in one setting just to make it simpler. So it's pretty easy. And then we move on to our next phase, which is this is just so your power button, once you press that down, this is gonna give the power indicator to turn the computer on to the board. So there's a little white ribbon cable you might want to memorize that has to connect at the end. So this right here is this putting in the stereo or the audio part of the computer. Speakers, that's what I was looking for. This right here is going to connect fingerprint scanner to the motherboard. That way you can scan your finger and unlock your computer. So this is just on the other side. I'm showing you a quick view of where it connects to, just to make sure you guys are getting in there properly. But you'll see there's only one place it can connect to with the length of the actual ribbon cable. So it just slides right down in there and hooks in. That one kind of took me a little bit to get in there for some reason. So here we are putting in the trackpad, which it just slides in there. There's 2 screws on the side. You can put those in there immediately. The rest of them have to actually be put in after you put the bottom part of the panel on. So this is obviously your 2 USBs and I want to call it VGA, but I think it's like a RS2 or it's something to connect to a server, so I don't believe that's an actual VGA. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those have 2 screws, as well as the speaker, which is what I'm connecting now. Screw that in there. There's that white ribbon cable that you're going to need to remember to connect to the board once you put that on there, so you can give the power to the board. I did forget that throughout this video, so you won't see me connect that. Alright, so here we are putting the logic board into the palm rest. It just kind of fits in there real nice, and if it doesn't feel right, then it's not right. So you want to put that in there at the angle that I showed you, and we're just going real smooth like. Screw down this VGA / the USB part of the logic board, or adapter to the logic board, whatever you want to call that. I don't know what it's considered as, but it's pretty simple. Just slide your screws in there. Just always remember which screws go in there. Those are going to be your longer screws, and then your ribbon cable that hooks up the VGA and the USBs to the actual logic board. It's kind of tricky to get it all in there at once, but you play with it for a second, you'll get it. You notice on top there's a little black burn on there. There should be some type of tape that goes over it, in my opinion, but it still works. The USBs work, the VGA works, or whatever it's called. I don't know that port exactly. I know it works with my server as well, so there is another name for it, but I haven't really verified that port. Obviously this is the fan that we're going to screw it down, which has the 2 plates that go over your processors. I believe this is both your processors right there. This is the Intel V Pro, so it comes with dual processors, one that's running off of software and drivers, the other one that's running off of firmware and your hardware. And so basically the copper cover there is just, it kind of absorbs the heat, and then obviously it's connected to your fan. That way it keeps all the heat into that copper, and then obviously you have your fan right there to suck all the heat out and blow it out And so if your computer's running right, you will feel the hot air blowing out, not just cold air, unless it's just not running at its maximum potential. But this is a really nice computer, so it should be. If you're using it and you're paying the money for it, you should be using it right. Even though now, like, it's 5 years later, 2018, we got a lot, there's a lot more advanced computers. This one is still, by far the best choice for the money. You spend $300 or $400 at Walmart, you get a piece of crap that's not going to last you very long. Where you can buy this one and it's going to last you a long time and do way more. Okay, these right here are the antenna cables that come from the LCD. It takes a while to get them hooked in there right. As you see, when you set them up, you want to put in first the 2 short wires that go straight to your Wi-Fi card. Right there is on the left, the little one, and then that, the big chip to the next of it, that one is your actual, or the card next to it is going to be your broadband card. The broadband card is, for 4G LTE. If you want to, have cellular data, you can do that because there's a SIM card slot in there. And you'll notice that there's different little slots. So the first 2 slots you'll see closer to the Wi-Fi adapter, or for the Wi-Fi adapter, obviously. And the ones that go around, you want to, put the antennas around that go to the broadband card. And so I did this a lot right here. You notice how I'm putting on the frame, and this will be the final time I put on the frame because we pretty much got everything in there. But I did that a lot throughout the whole process just to ensure that there was no screw holes up top that said, M.2 or whatever that had a screw size on them, because if it did, that means the screw was supposed to go after the panel was put on. And it keeps you from making any mistakes and screwing everything down. Then they have to, they have the whole panel screwed down, and you realize, oh, I got this one screw that's not supposed to be screwed in first, it's supposed to be screwed in after. So it's a good trick to use. So here I'm just going to go over, screwing them in the obvious parts that we need to have screwed in. So this is a pretty simple procedure here. This computer is a really awesome computer, and they sell them for relatively cheap. So if you know how to work on them, and you know where you can get a battery for a good price, which online, Amazon or eBay, whatever, you can pick these up in lots. I think it's in a lot sell for like $150. It's getting 4 computers. You spend like another $100 on the parts. You're going to fix all 4 of those computers. So $250 you got invested into 4 computers that are 10 times the computer that any computer you can get at Walmart will ever be. I literally, if you compare the processor on this, and this is the i5 version of the Intel vPro that comes with these HP Zbooks that were made in 2013. If you compare it to, like, let's say the base processor for the HP Omens, the nice ones that came out just last year, 2017 or 2016, 2017. So it'd be like the 4600U processor with the HP Zbooks versus the processor with the Omen, which is the 7700 HQ. It's definitely, like, this computer outperforms it by far. And so 5 years ago this computer was like $2,500 at the base with no extra add-ons, nothing, no fingerprint scanner, no SIM card slot. And so this one has all the additions to it, and you can get the i7 core processor. I don't know the big difference in it because it still runs the same processor, and so I don't know if that processor is the secondary one that's used for the ME firmware and management, which is the one that runs off the firmware hardware. But there's no difference in the processor as far as the i7 goes, and for the Windows operating system that you're going to run, or anything that uses software and drivers like Linux or whatever you guys prefer. So, all right, now I'm just finishing up a couple screws, and these should all be hex screws, besides the 5 or 6 different screws that went over the top of the trackpad. And now we're going to slide the hard drive in there, which slides in there real nice and easy. And then you just screw down the 4 screws. You notice one of my screws, actually you can see the spring right there over the top of it, and so you got to be kind of careful when you do that, as it's a pain. But you'll know that you've done it right because you push on the top of them, make sure they have no give. They'll kind of bounce up if they're not screwed in properly. And now I'm just, again, double checking all the different little spots to make sure that I have everything screwed down properly. I had to go over that screw a couple times because I wanted to make sure I had the right one, and ended up having to get a new screw for it because, I don't know, somewhere along the way I must have dropped it. But you see the screw set there. You can pick those up on eBay for a good price. And if you guys want any of the links to the tools I use or where I can get more screws, replacement screws for computers that have the same size as you'll see on this board, let me know and I'll throw it in the description. All right, now I'm just gonna slide the battery in there real nice and easy, and then we'll slap the back on real quick, and we will throw the keyboard in after that. So actually, we'll just keep the back off. So yeah, let's slide the keyboard in. We're gonna connect 3 ribbon cables, which is pretty simple. Boom, one right there. And it definitely took me longer than you'll actually see in the video because I've sped the video up. It's ×2 speed right now. But yeah, it did take me a while for sure though to get this all in there. It can be quite frustrating, but if you get frustrated, just take a break. Set it down. Record what you do. That way you can go back and you can view what you did. You don't necessarily have to post it on YouTube. It definitely is a bigger task to actually edit a video. Because I know on this video in particular that I made, it was 1 hour and 20 minutes long. Not because it took me 1 hour and 20 minutes, but it took me 1 hour and 20 minutes to get it recorded right. So recording it is okay. But trying to put a video on YouTube makes it a much harder task, and then having to edit it, anyway, so here we go. It's all connected, and you'll see those at the bottom right there where the keyboard's sticking up. There's 2 little slots that you want to make sure the keyboard slides in right. Lining it up right there, and then you can just push it on there. And you'll feel like there's 2 little lumps on that computer. It's okay, just keep pushing down, make sure it's all clicked into place. And when we flip it over, now we can actually screw the keyboard in. There's those 2 screws. It has the keyboard indicator or icon on them. The third one is only for opening it. There's actually no screw on that one, so you tighten them up. On the second one, sometimes you may have to open that computer back up and actually hold the keyboard and the computer at the same time and screw it together. But everything should go on real smooth the first time if you've press it down correctly and you have it shut. So we're now just going to slap it back together. I'm going to put these little rubber boots on that go over the screws. Make sure that no residue or moisture gets into the computer through the screw holes, I guess, or just because it looks nice. I don't know. I don't think there's a big purpose for them, because they don't really go down farther than the bottom of the computer, so it's not going to help keep your computer from getting scratched. It is pretty good material though. So this computer, I've been through a lot. I had a whole bowl of beans that got spilled on this computer, and so I had to disassemble the whole thing and clean it all out. It got into the speaker. I put water through the speaker, soap through the speaker, let it dry, and then use alcohol over it to dry out the moisture in the inside of it. And it's still surviving, it's still working real well. I never had to throw it in the oven or anything like that to dry it off. Some people do that with their logic boards. I don't prefer that at all. Anyway, so now we're just gonna go ahead and put that last little mouse on there, the rubber piece that goes over that, and turn it on. Boom. And look, if your computer doesn't boot as fast as mine, let me tell you what you can do to change that. You can go get an SSD. I prefer the H60 Evo by Samsung. It's one of the fastest SSDs that I've used that connects via SATA. It's actually at a really good price right now. They're selling for anywhere from $80 to $120. So pick them up while you can. Like, subscribe, comment below. Thanks for watching my video.